Remember, being a technical chartist or a technician, whatever you want to call yourself, it means that you have no emotion. You look at the chart, you say that candle is a topping tail, as it is a bearish signal. Unless we close above here, you are now bearish. That's just the way it is. X plus Y, it's 1 plus 2 equals 3. Very, very simple stuff in that respect. All right, now I do want to show you the dollar. We are going to get into oil, guys. Obviously, oil making a big move overnight, but look at what we have here. Now, this is interesting today. So we know last week that the dollar topped out. I called that right here on the game plan, saying the dollar is now topping out. We had 3 down days in a row. Notice how on Friday initially, we can see the wick, right? And by the way, the white part on top, which goes up, where it doesn't have the color, that's called a wick. Below is called a tail. That's a technical analysis terms for the tail on top. It's really a wick and a tail on the bottom. Okay, so what we saw on Friday with the jobs number, it rallied and then we reversed on the dollar. The dollar actually fell on Friday. Now we are seeing a pop today, and this is very interesting. The dollar is rallying today, right? While the yields, we just looked at yields are coming down. So again, the dollar, okay, is going up while the yield is going down. Now that's very unusual. Usually the dollar and the yield have been rallying together. I mean, again, think about this chart, and this is the dollar chart, and remember we just looked at the yield chart, which was the same chart. So why are these going inverse to each other today? And the answer again comes back to geopolitical instability of what's going on in the Middle East, right? So the instability makes people run to the dollar for protection. It's still the reserve currency. In fact, in the last 6 months or so, of all the transactions done, 48% of transactions around the world were done in US dollars. That is a new all-time high, believe it or not. Now, again, you've probably heard of de-dollarization. You've heard of the BRICS nations trying to kind of get away from the dollar. We've heard about China maybe doing transactions in yen, or dollar, I should say, the yuan. But ultimately, it is still king dollar. And so what's happening here is people are buying bonds, which pushes yields down. They're also buying the dollar, which is pushing the dollar up. And that's how you get this inverse relationship in the dollar and the bond market. Okay, so that's just a little explanation. Based on this, do we change our viewpoint of where the dollar is going with a little bit of an up move here? Or do we just respect this high right here until proven otherwise? And the answer is you respect the charts until proven otherwise. As soon as you deviate, as soon as you let emotion get control, and by the way, it is very emotional out there. It is horrendous. It is horrific. All of those terms are very applicable. My heart goes out to what is going on, to the innocent lives being lost. But my job when I come in here, when I get behind a computer, is to do my job and stick to the data and let the data tell me. Because I'll tell you guys, as soon as you let emotion dictate your investments, you will ultimately lose. I've experienced this in my early career, and it will happen to me again if I let emotion gain control. Be unbiased, look at the charts. That is how you will do successful investing regardless of what is going on. All right, so here we go, guys. So we have the dollar chart. I do want to flip over to oil. Now, this is just, again, this is one of those scenarios where being a robot and doing what the robot basically mentality tells you to do turned out to be very successful. Now, again, I don't like the fact that I ended up making money on the back of what is going on in the Middle East, but it is what it is. And again, the charts gave us a heads up. They didn't tell us that this was going to happen, but the charts on Friday, and I went over this on Thursday and Friday in the oil chart, the oil chart had fallen with a time count to the downside. In these game plans, I've gone over time counts. If time counts is a foreign term to you, it will blow your mind to learn about them. So really think about that. But you have a time count, which is a number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right into major technical support. Now, again, let me just zoom out a little bit because this is such major support that I have to show it all the way across. All right, so again, we go all the way back here, right? We can even go further, but let's just keep it somewhat on the tighter tighter knit side here. So we literally have pivot, 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 and a 7 count down into a pivot point. Okay, so again, me being a technician, I don't think about emotion. A lot of people would look at this chart and say, oh my goodness, this is the scariest chart I've ever seen. It's collapsing. I don't want to catch a falling knife. Well, you're right. You don't want to catch a falling knife if you don't know what you're doing. You will get cut, essentially. But by managing position size and saying, okay, listen, I'm going to nibble. And when I say nibble, it's a small position. I'm going to start a small position right down here. You wake up and you have oil trading up, 5% essentially. That was where it was around the highs of the day. It's come in just a little bit. And again, that is the chart alerting you to a situation that is higher probability of what the outcome is going to be, right? It's all a probability game. You look at the charts, you look to see what the charts are saying. You don't know what the heck is going to happen. I mean, again, no one, at least that I'm aware of, could have predicted what happened. But the chart was telling us probability signaled a bounce in oil. Here it is. Here's your bounce in oil. Very easy, profitable trade to have been had if you took it from my game plan right here. And like I say, guys, you guys make your own decisions. I'm just giving you the facts based on my analysis on the charts. You guys take it and do what you will with it.